hop back in. Everyone's at Jerick's, and we just saw that the Church of Stellar Flame. But I actually want to jump over to Kit. You're hanging out with Jerick at the junkyard, and like rummaging around for various parts, various projects. And yeah, I think we just cut in on him saying, "So, what are you doing in Holt, kid?"
We picked up a traveler, so we picked up a job dropping this guy off. But it was great for us to be able to stop here on the way.
A lot of business going on in the system at the moment. Church crawling all over the place.
Anything to be worried about?
I hope not. You committed any blasphemy lately?
You know me. You never know.
I'm just gonna quickly pull up the Church of Stellar Flame stuff and sort of explain a little about what the church is about. Where is it? Yes, the Church of Stellar Flame claim that all light is darkened by exposure to earthsites and artifacts. They accuse mystics of dimming the light and have a branch of inquisitors dedicated to rooting out such sources of corruption. They're generally seen as like zealots, and they would have probably been removed cult some time ago, except that like the militant orders within the church are very powerful tools for the hegemon and nobles looking to exploit people.
Yeah, Jerick, so I expect with the church all around, you might have had to, put some stuff in storage for a little bit.
Got to keep the good stuff hidden.
Yeah. My curiosity and artifacts like that. I was wondering if you might have anything you'd think I'd be interested in.
Interesting. Actually I'm going to turn this into a gather information. So we'll see what information Jerick has for you. It sounds like the way in which you're going about this is consorting with Jerick, but if you want to like lay the screws into him, you can tell me which action you want to use to gather information here.
Yeah, no, consort sounds good.
Okay, cool. So the way I gather information roll, like most, even though this isn't a full downtime action, like other downtime rolls, it is just a fortune roll, so you don't need position and effect. But if you want to roll your consort here.
Okay. Oh.
A 2. Okay, so you're only going to get like a so he says to you, truth is, kiddo, for the last month or so, I've moved everything off-site. Yeah. Inquisitors hanging around, and like he looks over, like we get another shot of that sleek black and red ship.
Yeah.
And he says, that said, there was a member of the Bornico Syndicate here not too long ago. I think they were headed down planet side for a job. Might be something of interest to you.
What do I know about that syndicate?
Yeah, so the Bornico Syndicate are, they're thieves. Like, unlike the Cobalt Syndicate, who, like, organization, they were a union, that kind of thing. The Bornico, they're like a tight-knit group of thieves. But they're like, they're pretty serious business. Like, these people could steal The going rumor is like, if you want something stolen, on a syndicate.
Okay, then I just might leave this part of the conversation with Jarek, just like, all right, well, if any of your offsite stuff does end up back on site in your hands, definitely hit me up on my private line. And
So you cut out at the end there. Shane?
yeah, and then we go back to talking about, I don't know, parts and things,
Sure.
and prices.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cool. So we cut back to the diner. Where do we see the various members of the crew?
I'm just hanging around, basically near the booth,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hunkering for some donuts and some coffee. But I have an eye on Junior, and then I have another eye on this, fellow who's across the way. I'm like, I don't know, this looks fishy, but
Yeah, I think we see you take a big bite of a donut. And Byron, what about you? How are you?
I am standing near the captain. Who is that, by
the way? Yeah, one of these fellows. And
who do you decide is the captain?
Yeah, who did you determine?
I mean, I guess you did say that Rick was in charge for the time being, so I guess I'm standing behind Rick somewhere.
Well, in charge of the body, at least, but yeah.
No, you said you had full authority to deal with, and then I just blanked, so I don't know.
Okay, so you blanked, that's why you're there.
And Edwin, what about you?
I'm probably not too far away from the booth either. And no one's really told me about like all these secret plans to go down to Vox yet, so I'm just like, well, I'll eat this donut that Rick brings back to me. I'll have like a little sip of coffee, and I'm gonna make sure that, no one like approaches the box while the call's being handled.
Yeah, I mean, Junior has told you he wants to get on. He just hasn't said who for or how you're getting in there. Like, Voss is pretty tightly controlled as far as planets go.
Right.
I think after a couple of minutes, the waitress comes over to you, Edwin, and she says, sorry to disturb you. And she like looks at your imposing friends, and she says, Inquisitor Iram would like to have a word with you, sir.
I'll like turn my head over to Rick and just say, "Do you have this?"
Sure.
All right. I'll go ahead and head on over.
Real quick.
Yeah.
One more thing. Did she say Inquisitor?
I believe so.
Yeah, like the girl looks at you and like,
I suppose it's time I go and introduce myself.
Well, if you need to shoot somebody, scream loudly.
I'll prepare my best screaming voice.
He said in the middle of
a... Oh yeah, well, Edwin plays it off as a joke and all, but we know it's very serious, scream and then shoot everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Edwin's gonna get up. I've gone ahead and chosen he's in normal loadout, so he probably is actually dressed reasonably well at the moment.
Yeah, you don't need to choose a loadout and go for a mission.
Yeah, until we're actually on a mission. But I'm like, that's one.
So you can just be wearing your standard whatever noble garb.
But I'll take my coffee. I'll go over to the Inquisitor's table and I'll go ahead and greet him.
Yeah, he folds his paper as you approach and puts it on. Of course, in 10,000 years in the future or whatever, they still have press print.
Well, hey, sometimes it's nice to print out the news feed.
Yeah, they probably just have perfect recyclables or something like that. Once you're done with the paper, you put it in a laser shredder or something. Yeah, and as you approach, he sort of gestures a gloved hand to the chair opposite him.
All right. So I'll go ahead and I'll take the seat as he gestures. So you must be Inquisitor Ram, is that correct?
Yes, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And you can tell that he's like fishing.
Mr. Rockwood, Edwin Rockwood the Seventh. It's a pleasure.
Rockwood, huh? I had you picked as a man of taste. And you can like see him like trying to work out what your deal is. But he recognizes your family name.
If only there were better taste on this dingy little station. Coffee's hardly high quality here, I'm afraid. Pleasant
Yeah.
evening right now.
He
I hope your
blinks
work
and
over here has not been has been going well.
I have a difficult quarry currently. Your friend with the mask, and he looks over towards Fang. He says, "Some sort of cyborg, is he?"
Edwin will just like stroke his chin a little bit. Well, I considered it inconsiderate to ask that. He does seem to at least like the mask, but if there's anything underneath it, well, that'd be very rude. Maybe he'll bring it up one day.
You've never seen his face then?
It simply didn't seem necessary. He's serving as a bodyguard, but he comes well recommended.
I don't trust a man I can't look in the eyes. And he's like staring right in your eyes.
And when, of course, straight back, the noble intimidation stare kind of thing. That apparently seems to be the thing to do around these birds. He's like, well, that's why I look other people into the eyes for him. No one else needs to be concerned with him but me. I think that's the way it is.
Your crew.
This coffee needs more filtering.
Yeah, like he like watches you put it down and then just look back at you. He doesn't sort of engage in the small talk, and he says, "Your crew, you engage in third-party contracts."
Well, now that you mention it, we are looking for new contracts in the area. I don't suppose you happen to have something in mind. I can assure you my crew has a number of expertise. And you say you're looking for a quarry. Well, I think we could probably handle something. Tell us what you have. Maybe it will fit our skill level.
I want you to give me a roll because I want to see how much.
Okay. What are we gonna roll here?
Again, this is like a fortune roll, but you, as with all rolls in Scum Villainy, you tell me what you're rolling here. Is this about like trying to leverage your charm and manipulation? In which case, it would be probably sway. If it's about just like very honest and upfront dealing with him, then it's probably consort. Though consort's usually for people you know quite well.
Right. Right now, I suppose I'm definitely playing a bit of the dealer here, where I'm trying to like present myself as like, oh yes, we're trustworthy and we will handle contracts and we do the jobs and we come back with good results and that's some sort of thing. I'm selling up what we are in hopes that he'll tell us here's a nice contract for you, and maybe it'll be worth a good bit of money. So I guess this is probably sway, I guess, since like you said, consort is more I know him and I'm just chatting. So this is more trying to leverage into that and just get him to spill it.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and pop sway.
Yeah, you can just put in whatever position and effect because it's a fortune roll in this particular case.
Okay, so I'll just like keep it risky then or whatever.
Yeah.
Input value standard, bonus dice none. Let's just go ahead and roll 3 and 3.
Okay, so he's only going to give you. If you have, On your character sheet at the bottom, well, has it done? You should have like gather information questions. I'm gonna give you what he wants from you, but then I'll let you ask one of those questions as well.
Okay, so let's do that. So you go ahead and go first.
He says to you, dangerous mystics have been rumored to be on planet. Unfortunately, Impera Evazan refuses to acknowledge my authority on her planet, and I have been denied entry to Voss. If you have legitimate ways of getting on planet and could secure for me these two, and you can see like the venom dripping from his mouth as he says, these two so-called night speakers. I would have a bounty very suitable for a man of your fine tastes.
All right, and that's this point. He probably like drops a specific number that is abstracted out. You know, it's like
exactly. Cred is all
very
abstracted,
interesting,
but it's a serious bounty. Like it's all.
Yeah.
I mean, you know who the night speakers are, though. Things associated with them, you know, they helped you set up your ship. All of this stuff, like it's not.
Right.
That's not a secret from you, Edwin. Though obviously this guy Iram doesn't know.
So two of these questions are sort of similar, which is like what I might suspect / what's really going on here. And he's obviously been projecting the like people who follow the way are like dangerous, and we're trying to get them out of the way. Is there like a secondary motive here, like about these two individuals?
Yeah, so you only got a 3
about.
on your sway, so it's going to be limited. But what I'm going to tell you is it's personal. Iram has some personal involvement with whoever the night speakers are that he wants. Yeah, he's sort of not giving away more than that right now. You know how to read between the lines, and if he was denied entry, normally he should probably just move on. Thing, unless he has a personal reason for wanting to hunt these people.
Well, as I understand it, we still have good standing in the system. I think getting onto Vox shouldn't be a problem in itself. I'll engage in the search in good faith. I think we could probably accept this contract, though I'll probably need to talk it over with my crew first. You understand, of course.
The bounty stands open. If you capture these fugitives, send me a communique. I will meet you on trade platform Auto 4.
And Edwin will like take out his like communicator. He'll like document the information onto like his iPad or whatever here, and give like a courteous nod. Very well then. Contract is open. I look forward to doing some business with you then.
Yep, sorry.
So I'll go ahead and get up, take my coffee, see how everyone else is doing.
As you do, like the camera cuts away because in the time that you've been having that, Junior has come out of the box and he looks at you, Rick, given that you're standing nearby. We see him clock that Edwin is talking to the churchman, and he looks at you and he says, well, good news and bad. Which first?
Bad.
Let's hear the good news. I like good news.
They're not there.
Oh, sorry.
He like look. Yeah. You're still talking.
Got it.
At this point, like, so you said bad.
Yeah.
He says, well, my contact on planet is in a spot of bother, and he won't officiate our papers unless Well, you see, I told him that I had hooked up with the infamous Captain Rado and his crew, and he wants your help. And Junior sort of like furrows his brow.
And let's look to the good news, I suppose.
Well, if you agree to help, there is a large sum of money involved.
Did we perchance explain the exact part of the bother?
My friend works for the Counters Guild. His name's Ramus. They were interested in some research of mine and offered me a retainer. But the problem is that it seems something out of one of their important gone missing.
Sorry, you cut out right when you said that.
Sorry. Yeah, he says something out of one of their secure vaults has gone missing. He said he'd be happy to talk to his man at the space station to get us on planet. Strange name, UA Wu might be a droid.
Oh. So let me get this straight. In order to finish your contract, we have to get a favor, do a favor for your friend. And
that's right.
He wants us to track down this missing item. Well,
it's not a favor if he's paying for it.
Well,
the favor is to agree to the job itself.
Did he? So this Wu has the description, or does he have more information on the?
Wu is the space station contact who will expedite our papers onto the planet. But we are actually the problem you see is that the client who owns the vault is closely associated with the Starsmiths Guild, and so someone needs to liaise with the Emperor. Sorry, not Emperor. The Impera herself. And that is what Ramus is asking of you to talk to Emperor Evazan and get the details.
Well, that's pretty up the chain. I could try. No
Basically, what you know about Emperor Evazan is that she's like the senior Starsmith. She's like one of the more important people in the sector, certainly in this system. She basically controls all traffic in and out of Voss.
Yeah. So we have to talk to this Wu so that we can then talk to.
Yeah. Wu is basically just like a handler, but he will approve all your papers without any questions asked as long as you agree to the job.
Okay. So I guess I could send up a call, see how that goes.
Oh, just agree to
But
the
she
job.
is. Go ahead.
So
I said I figure I'm like over your shoulder, like leaning in. Just agree to the job.
Fine. We're already here, so might as well agree to the job.
Edwin, I think at about this time you come back over.
Well, good news. Turns out we can get some work done on this planet. It's the first thing he says as he comes over, takes a look at his empty coffee mug, he just like shrugs a little bit.
Well, the thing is, we're already kind of busy. We're gonna have to talk to some people first, on account that we're dealing with Junior here. Literally.
Well, if you got your phone call over, then I suppose we should head back to the ship and discuss what next.
First, I think we're gonna have to talk to Wu, right?
Yeah, so I think we like cut away from you guys back to Kit, and Kit, you're just like carrying this huge like pile of various parts or whatever that Jarek's foisted off on you.
Bates the drone is there helping me, but he can carry like a tiny little piece.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think like as you're getting back on the, Jarek looks at you and he says, "Be careful out there, kiddo. These church folk, they mean serious business, and I hear they're contracting outsiders when they can't get the job done themselves. Word is that Morek is in the system, and that name, like immediately, everyone in like this whole sector would know that name. Morek is basically like the most infamous bounty hunter in like all of Procyon sector.
Okay. Good to know. Thanks for the advice.
Yeah, and so you guys can all sort of like gather back. Though, if anyone has any other, I know you guys have.
I basically have Junior explain to Rockwood what's going on, and we're gonna head right to Woo, right before we go to the ship.
Yeah.
Well, Woo is at Space Station IA-23, which is like where you have to dock before you can get to.
Okay, so we have to get out of here. Okay, so
yeah,
right. So we'll convene at the ship and have everyone rejoin us, which I guess is just Kit, because Byron was with us too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know my mic is dropping in and out. I'm not sure what the issue is, if it's internet or. I haven't got any packet loss, so that's weird.
It's only like a word every so often.
All right, it's probably. Oh, you know what? Probably. I'll turn up. I don't want to peak, but I'll turn up the gain on my mic, and I'll try and speak up a bit. I'm probably just muttering a bit because it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Sorry. Yeah. So before you guys like take off, I just wanted to ask because you guys do still have some cred, and I remember Edwin, you get a extra downtime action as well.
Right.
So anyone can spend a cred to get an extra downtime action. So I just want you guys to be aware that that's a thing you can do.
It's not even more training in.
Oh, just been on the ship.
Well, I mean, I got this cred too.
Is there anything anyone wanted to do, Edwin?
I do have an acquire assets action, and it's time for me to figure out how to get creative about the things that we already have on the table here.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
So I'm aware of the mission to get down to the planet and talk to the Imperator. I'm aware of the mission to go deal with some wayward mystics.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can get back to the ship and share whatever you want. I think the one question is Byron shares that that he's been asked to get those night speakers off planet.
Yeah, I'll probably say these people are out for bounty. Does Byron even respond to that?
I will share out of character my thought processes on this so that we can then all experience it in character. Byron is not going to share anything. Here, he was going to try and figure out this mission solo, riding on y'all's coattails to get them out. But hearing that there's a bounty and that you've accepted the bounty, he's going to ride your bounty. All of your leads are going to help him get there. And then when we're there, we're pulling these people out.
Okay, so Byron doesn't share that part of the plan to him. What Edwin will probably describe is the bounty is open, we're not contractually obligated to do anything, but while we're there, this is a big number. It's worthwhile to try to pursue this, and I am going to contact one of my friends, I think, and maybe see if I can get some extra information to help us out on the search.
Sure.
Wait, we're actually taking this. This is in character. We're actually taking this job. We're actually gonna work for the fucking church. This bullshit.
No,
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but it's a church.
We have another job. There are plenty of jobs out there.
It's a church.
That's true. The only other thing then would be like, since I don't know what job that we're going to be doing for Wu here or the Imperator. Out of character, how should I prepare for this? Because like with the bounties, it's very clear what we're going to be going for. With the Imperator, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it now. You could wait to the Emperor. I'm not gonna. You guys don't need to roll engage until you're going to be planet side.
So I'll go ahead and like hold off on that until we get like a few more mission specs, then maybe make a decision then.
Yeah,
okay.
If you want to, because I know you can also use it to lay, which would help you reduce your wanted level in Rin.
Yeah, I've seriously been considering that. Like, if I didn't train, I would have already laid low too. So we do need it. So if I fail to think of anything, I'll end up playing low later.
Okay. Did anyone else want to do any other downtime stuff?
Well, I don't know if I can use Sway to start getting information on who this person might be, because if they want to talk to the Imperator, and I'm part of the guild, because I'm a guild during the Starsmiths, maybe I want to have some info so I don't, fall into any rhetorical or actual traps.
So, which person is it that you want to get info?
Well, I want to get information. I mean, what's the connection between the guild, specifically the Predator, and this person in the vault? I want to get information on them. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think we need the roll yet, but keep that in the back pocket, because I think let's do the scene rather than. And so, yeah, you guys, we see the Red Baron approaching space station IA-23, which is like this big sort of like floating space dock that like it orbits around the planet, but it's also like it has thrusters and stuff, so it can intercept any ships that try to enter illegally. Voss is a fairly small planet, but we can sort of see it in the background of this shot, glowing with a sort of not quite neon, but sort of like a subtle glow. The planet itself has a glow even out here in space. And yeah, we see you guys approaching the space station, and up on the. I think we cut to seeing Rick at the pilot's controls, and your communication screen like flickers to life, and we see a droid. I meant to make a handout for them, but they immediately are like, come in, Red Baron. This is Yue Wu of the Starsmiths Guild.
This is the Red Baron. Rick Rizal at the helm, and we are requesting permission to dock for access to the planet.
Of course, Red Baron. Your papers seem to be in order here, but at the space station, not planet, there is someone here who wishes to meet you.
Will do.
Nice. So we see you guys like pull into the space station. And waiting for you like on the dock is a man who's wearing like a tailored suit, and he's got like a little coif. This is not the droid that you spoke to. He looks like this, and he says, the Red Baron. I believe I was meant to meet a Captain Rado, and he like holds a hand out probably towards Edwin.
Unfortunately, Rado is no longer with us. I'm the captain now. Captain Edwin Rockwood. Pleasure to meet you.
He said the thing.
He said the thing. He said the title. He said it. And yeah, he shakes your hand. He says, Captain Rockwood. Good. I will update our information. I assume you've been through the proper paperwork.
Absolutely. Completely handled. Now, Rockwood says, like, while visibly sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely handled all these assets correctly and legally. Yeah.
And he actually breaks into a grin and he says, "Well, I'm sure if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours."
Oh, let's discuss that. That seems to be what we're here for.
I'm Duncan, by the way, Duncan Smith.
Pleasure to meet you, Duncan.
I'm one of the Emperor's offhand men, as it were. Please follow me.
All right. So we were escorted by him deeper into the station. Where's he taking us?
Yeah, I mean, we see like all these shots of like hallway and ships. Is everyone going to this meeting? Like, Kid, are you accompanying the crew as well?
Well, the
You're
captain has to
muted.
go to the meeting.
You're muted.
Everyone's
You're
invited.
muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Sorry. I think I'll come, but I'll bring the Bates bot with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm kind of more into chatting with him than the people.
This place is like actually pretty interesting because as you go like down, there's a lot of ships docked here, right? And so you see people stuff through windows and that kind of stuff. But then as Duncan leads you deeper into the space station, it becomes more like offices and there's like all sorts of paperwork. You see like an entire, what looks like basically a call center filled with droids with headsets on, talking to people, despite the fact that the droids probably don't need the headsets. It's just an amusing image.
It's company policy. Everybody has to have a
exactly.
headset.
Yeah, and so eventually you're led like down a hallway to what looks like some sort of corner office, as it were, and there's a sliding door that opens up, and the office that you walk into, it has like one fully glass wall that basically looks out into space, and you can see Voss in full glow. There are lights in the room, but the glow from the planet sort of gives the room this sort of eerie green-purple aspect. And standing, looking out the window, is a woman in like a fine skirt suit, a sort of middle-aged woman, and she turns as you enter and she says, "Ah, yes, the contractors. Good. Please make yourself at home. Would you like a drink, Duncan?" And Duncan like goes over to the drinks table and is like ready to make you guys a drink if you'd like.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Byron, you've accompanied us too, right? Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So everyone is in the meeting. Cool.
I always say signal like one if it's whiskey or something like that, well, a finger, right? I don't even say what I want. I just sort of like.
Yeah, I think he sort of like it defaults and pours whiskey to bring over both Rick and Edwin, and then he sort of leans into you, Kid, and he says, "Does the tall one drink?" And he's like looking at Byron.
Yeah. I don't know. You should ask him. Like I lean back in. It's like you should probably ask him.
Friend, would you partake of some libation?
I'll pass.
And then he looks back to you, Kid, and he says, "And you?"
Yeah.
And he like nods towards the whiskey, says, "The same?"
Sure.
"After my own taste. Good." And he like walks over and pours another couple of hands. And the Emperor sort of is taking this time to sort of like take stock of your group. She says, so when everyone is, Byron is there in case the drinks are drugged. She looks over you all and she says, "A suitable bunch of misfits, aren't you?"
Toast for that.
I like to think of ourselves as mischievous rascals. And he just smiles and takes a drink.
And in my head, it goes like, "That's like exact synonym of what she just said."
Hmm.
Yeah, that doesn't actually change anything. But sure, it's like I just smile. You know.
Lessons is just like, don't mind him, our captain idiot.
Now our acting captain. So yeah.
Right. Well, this business is rather serious, I'm afraid, but official sources have dried up, and I need people who can move freely in the seedy underbelly of my planet, which I regret to admit exists, much as I would prefer it didn't.
I look at Rockwood and we're like, your show. You're the captain.
Oh, I understand how easy it can be to turn a blind eye to such things at times when things are going well. But I take it things aren't quite, given your description. So tell us, what's the situation about?
Our associates in the Counters Guild, who we rely on to keep our goods and those of our clients safe, have been found severely wanting in their security. And she like shakes her head.
Mm-hmm.
She moves over to the desk and she says, "A very valuable piece of jewelry has gone missing from a vault, and the client is en route to pick it up as we speak."
I see. How long before they get here?
It is a matter of days, not weeks.
Ooh.
And who is the client?
I'm just trying to work out whether she would have any interest in telling you that information. She looks at you, Kit. She looks at you, Kit, and she says, "I'm not sure that it's of any import to you. However, I'm sure you can gather enough that these are people that I do not want to disappoint."
Right, someone you don't want to have view of this unfortunate event. It might reflect poorly, but if it were to be recovered, well, no one has to be aware any such thing ever occurred, correct?
She like gives a hand gesture towards Duncan, and Duncan like brings over a manila folder, and
Oh, perfect.
it's like open, and he says, "I don't know if you're familiar with Yola Sprek." And like the front page has a picture of a woman. She's wearing glasses. She looks like she's maybe in her mid-60s. She looks a bit like this. And he says, "She's perhaps the finest jeweler in all of Procyon sector. She works with the unique properties of Vossian crystals. A true artist, do you understand?"
At this, Kit unintentionally looks at Byron and then like tries to snap back to pretending she's disinterested.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Emperor says, "A piece of Sprek jewelry can open doors, elite circle."
I see. So we're talking about a retrieval operation with a time limit of what, 2-3 days at most, 72 hours, if tops. And
Are you?
anything else?
I can put you in touch with Ramus Oren. He's the man in charge of the vaulting question. Is Junior with you guys, or is?
I imagine we're meeting his friends, so he's probably come along. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Junior says, "Oh yes, I'm familiar with Mr. Oren," and this is like the first time looks at Junior, and she looks back to you, Edwin, and says, "Is this one a member of your crew or a liability?"
For the time being.
A member. He means a member, yes.
That's such a good answer. Oh, nice. She seems to like take stock of that, and you guys like turn the page, and there's this very large black guy with the name Ramus underneath them, and it like gives you some details on him and where he works in the Counters Guild.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, his help has been very limited in our investigation. But I understand that if you want to see the scene itself, you'll need to be in touch with him.
Of course. He hasn't mentioned if he has any particular suspects yet. I imagine this happened without anyone being aware, right?
And Duncan speaks up and he says, "That's the strange thing about it all. There's constant video surveillance of not only the vault itself, but all of the hallways, and nothing appears on any of the footage. The vault was never disturbed. As far as our investigators went, they scanned every single piece of from when the piece of jewelry was put in the vault, and it just disappeared."
Yeah, we'll need access to the vault and to the security room that holds the video footage.
Yes, that's what Ramus is all about.
Yeah. 2 days to find a ghost.
Yeah.
The Emperor says, Duncan will accompany you planetside and put you in touch with Ramus. And you see Duncan like look at her, look back at you like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I guess I'll do that." I didn't realize I was babysitting.
Well, I'm sure your personal assistant will be most useful to us.
And she says, Sprek herself can be a little. Oh god, my brain is having trouble with words this morning.
Eccentric.
She's like eccentric is exactly the
There
word
you
she
go.
used. Sprek can be a little eccentric, but if you wish to talk to her as well, you might be able to glean some information that our investigators were unable to.
You're
But
not
really,
suspicious of her in this case, are you?
yeah, she narrows her eyes and she says, "She has always been reliable in the past. And my understanding is that this particular piece was of great pride to her."
If you had to guess who else might have taken it, what is the first name that comes to mind?
Oh, good question. Very good question.
I suppose anyone seeking power, of course, given the doors it could open.
Yes, but I suspect that this key is designed to open one very specific door.
It's more metaphorical.
Yes, the door to your heart.
No, but what I mean to say is that this piece was created and put in a vault in order to be
Yeah. When you say that, Rick, she looks at you and